What's good, everybody? Welcome to the next exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media. Yes, people, before we go on, I must say the show is still here. Yes, I got a new job. I work at Stride PR. Woo! I'm a video game PR guy, but the show is still here. I skipped a week because I ended up getting the job, but then it was Thanksgiving, which was already a planned break. So yes, you were 2 weeks without the show. 1 week planned, one unexpected, but no need to worry. Thank you for all who reached out. The show must go on, and it will continue to go on. And I will say that it was one of the things during the interview process I made sure that I wanted to be able to keep doing my podcast. They said yes. So shout out to Stride PR. Shout out to my new coworkers, my bosses, everybody. I appreciate that. But yeah, so that's it for the exciting news. Show's still going on. Don't worry. We might miss. We're going to be off for Christmas. So there's going to be a week off in December, but don't worry. Regular scheduled program. But everyone, I have an exciting show for you as always. And I have a new guest, great guest as always from the industry. We got the wonderful Grant Stoner. Give it up. Woo! How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, man. Thank you for joining me. If y'all don't know, everybody, Grant is a Pokemon super fan, Pokemon master like myself. I see him on Twitter. He got the knowledge. So, of course, I was like, I gotta talk Pokemon. But, I can't talk Pokemon with the usual suspects. I gotta bring new and fresh Pokemon masters on the show. Yeah, Casey's cool. Brian's cool. We love them to death. But nah, Pokemon world people. So we gotta encompass all of that. So, Grant, just in case people don't know, who are you and what do you do?
So I am a journalist in the gaming industry, and I focus on the disabled perspective in gaming. So a lot of the stories I write discuss accessibility, the disabled experience, what it means to be disabled as a video game player, and how the industry can accommodate and accept other disabled players, and also how the industry falls short and how they're not meeting the needs for disabled players. Because for so long, disabled people didn't really have a voice in terms of journalism. A lot of the stories that you would read or watch were very niche pieces, and they were very inspirational in a sense. Like, look at this disabled person play a video game despite their disability. So my stories treat disabled stories as if they're everyday news. There's no inspiration. There's no niche aspect. It's, here's a disabled person. Here are the barriers they encounter. Here's what works. Here's what doesn't.
Oh, man, that's what's up. I respect that truly because as a black gamer, I feel that completely. It's like, sometimes when I write, I'm just writing from a black perspective as it's the normal perspective. I'm not here to be like, oh, look, it's February. Look at me. Here's my struggles. And here's this, I'm not someone to put on a pedestal to fill some niche for some month or week or a thing. So, man, I get you 100%, and I respect that. I'm right there with you because one of the beautiful things about gamers is, like, unlike so many things, like, gamer is gender neutral, ability neutral. It is just literally, I can't think of a all-encompassing hobby or term that can literally, there's no barrier, there's no demographic, all you need is, access to games and you're a gamer. That's it. Whether that's on your phone, the PS5, whatever. And, that's what makes it so great. We ain't there yet. We ain't where we need to be, but we all going to get there. And so we all working towards that. And we all working towards these amazing topics on the podcast. This week, people, we are going to be talking about the Game Award nominees. Yes, I know it's right around the corner, but the show's on break and things happen. So we're finally going to talk about that because I got some interesting to say. And of course, had to bring the Pokemon Master on. We're going to be talking about Brilliant Diamond, Dazzling Pearl, Shining Pearl. I don't know, whatever verb before Pearl is. We're going to be talking about the remakes. We're going to be talking about the remakes in detail, what we think. I think it's probably one of the best Pokemon games to date, including mainline games and everything, but we'll get into that. But before that, we're gonna talk about Halo Infinite specifically, but Halo in general, because as we know, the Halo Infinite multiplayer is out in the wild. I think it's still beta, but it's there. I mean, when it switched over from not beta to wherever it is, it's there. The world's been having it, and it's been highly well received. Because if you know anything about Halo 4, Halo 5, not the best games out there with reputations. But Grant, I just want to talk to you. Just if one game was going to bring FPSs back to their glory of the mid 2000s, late 2000s, it would be Halo. Like it just would be Halo. And I don't know, what was your impact with Halo in its gaming industry? Like, I remember when Halo 2 came out, that might as well have been the only game that existed for like 3 years in my mind, because that's how much people played it.
Yeah, my first experience with Halo was the original Xbox. I remember my brother's friend brought it over for us to try, and I couldn't use it because the controller was so big. I was like, oh, this game is ridiculous. I can't play it. But my brother and his friend played it for hours, and it wasn't until Halo 2 on the 360 that I realized that, oh, this game is really fun. It's really arcadey. It's very fast-paced. It's ridiculous to play with all your friends. But to me, Halo was very, like, samey, if that makes sense. For the first 3 games, it just felt like the same game. And there's nothing wrong with that, but once Halo Reach launched, I was like, oh my god, this is what Halo could be.
Oh, I don't. I'm pretty sure you never heard, but I, for a long time, have told people Halo Reach is the best game in the Halo series, and no one. I mean, no one believes me. Everyone's like, no, it's good, but it's not. No, thank you for making me feel like a sane person. Thank you for seeing the light. That Halo Reach has a great story, great gameplay, probably one of the best endings in all of FPS genre. Point blank. Period.
Yes. Yeah. Whenever we play FPS, it's like, I don't really care about the characters. Because it's like, you could replace any character in any Call of Duty game. And the story would be exactly the same. But the team dynamics with Noble Team and having Noble 6 have that last stand as Reach gets destroyed. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, you put it. Yes, I agree, and I'm glad you said that Halo 1, 2, and 3 felt samey, because, okay, I am a general lover of FPSs. It's not my favorite genre or anything. Like, I'm not about to buy Call of Duty Black Ops and Call of Duty every year in, year out. That's just ridiculous to me. I don't know how people do it, but hey, teach their own. And and I really think that Halo people, the general public, or the masses, saw that with Halo 4 and 5 being Halo 4 being well, okay, well received, and Halo 5 generally being on the bad end of things. And I've always felt that Halo was trying to be, it lost its identity in the sense that it was trying to be like a Call of Duty or whatever, was the biggest shooters in its time. And with the words you said, samey, sometimes that's okay to be samey and good, because Halo Infinite, I will argue, is just the same thing, but just in a way that's elevated. It's like, yes, you don't need to be Call of Duty. You don't need to be, Apex. You just need to be Halo. And they've done it in such a way that I think that, I mean, I hope we don't enter that era where everything is an FPS. I think we kind of, left that in gaming. But I think Halo Infinite is going to show a new generation why FPSs were the most powerful genre on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always view Halo as like a comfort series, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like, it's the kind of game where if anyone's like, I'm new to gaming, what should I play? I say play Halo. It's good story, good combat, the differentiation between games isn't enough to like culture shock you. You can play through all of them. I have relatively the same experience. Like Halo is, I can't imagine a world where Halo doesn't exist, because it's so important to the genre.
Oh yeah, it is. And now that so we already know Infinite's multiplayer is pretty good and stuff, and it can only get better. If it's already this baseline good, it can only go up from here. But what do you think it means for like the Xbox, specifically, Series S X, the success of Halo? Do you think this it could have survived if, let's just say, Halo Infinite wasn't as good as it is now and is going to be? You think that Series X and S could have survived without a powerful game-changing Halo?
No, because I think people expect every generation of Xbox to have a Halo, and if it didn't have a Halo, they would just move over to PlayStation, which has franchises like Ratchet and Clank, God of War, what else? The Souls games, Bloodborne. Like, Xbox doesn't have many first party exclusives, so without Halo, I don't think there would really be an Xbox per se.
Yeah. Because I always wonder. So you look at, in terms of legacy games. I'm going to use Nintendo's example. You got Mario, you got Zelda, and those are always generally 10 out of 10, knock it out the park. There's some examples, but like a bad Mario, bad Zelda game is still like an 8 out of 10 good. Generally speaking, and, their legacies are solid in the sense that I don't think we'll ever, knock on wood, reach a period where Mario has to make a comeback or Zelda has to make a comeback or, any Nintendo franchise. But, Halo was at that pivotal point that it had to make a comeback. Like, if Halo Infinite was a bust, that would probably be it for the series as a whole. Like, and now that I won, and I just off the pre-reviews, I haven't played the campaign myself, but what I've read, people are saying it's amazing, best thing since sliced bread. What do you think that's probably going to mean for the FPS genre? You think we might see a resurgence of just these FPS titles like we did after the success of Halo, or you think we're kind of beyond that?
I think we're beyond that in a sense of, because Battle Royales are still the top, right? If not, like, right at the top.
Yeah, I think Twitch had their results. They said that, I forgot what was 1 and 2, but it was Apex Halo or Halo Apex. The most currently streamed games right now.
Right, so I don't know if Halo is going to rejuvenate FPSs, but it's proof that FPSs are here to stay, and they're not going anywhere. Because you look at Battlefield and Call of Duty, and they come out yearly, if not every 2 years. But then you have like a big game like Halo, which is like, this is why the genre exists for moments like this.
Damn, I guess you're right. This is why this genre is just for, because I can't honestly think of, since before Halo Infinite and modern gaming history, what was a major like FPS release. Because like you say, Call of Duty and Battlefield became so yearly that you can't really call it a major release. It's just kind of, it's like Madden, you just kind of expect it to come out. And, you're not saying it's bad. It's just, it's going to be there. It's not going to stop the presses, so to speak. And I can't think, I mean, like maybe Resident Evil 7 Village, but I'm like, it's really hard for me to call that a first-person shooter in the same sense. Can you call Metroid Prime a first-person shooter? It's in first person, and yes, you shoot, but it's not really. And then, anything else I can think of is a cover shooter with a story. So I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to think of, before Halo Infinite, what was a momentous FPS game? And I honestly think the last one before it might have just been Halo 5 or 4 or just, another Halo title.
When did Doom release?
Oh, okay.
2016?
2016, yeah. Somewhere around there.
I would say that was the last time that a good FPS came out.
Yeah. And then how was that? That was Doom Eternal, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I can give you Doom. I can give you Doom. And even Doom, as big as a release that was, that was one of the games, not saying it was bad, that like, Doom came out, but like a month later, you're not hearing about Doom. It's like everyone played it, we thought it was great, and then now we're on to, whatever else came after that. Versus, I assume we're going to be Halo because, the Battle Pass system, which is, every online arena shooter shooter period is doing. So we're gonna hear about Halo for a while, but my prediction is Halo Infinite is going to come out. I don't know what happens in the story, but clearly, the story is going to end on probably on some type of cliffhanger continuation note. And I really think we're going to get like a revival of Halo spin-off series. Like, we're probably going to get like Halo this, ODS 2. They're going to probably like slow trickle these games. And I swear to you, if we do not get an HD remake of Reach, I'm going to be livid. Just livid.
Yes. Same. I want Reach back. I want my glorious noble six back in my hands. Yeah. That's all I want.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you the biggest insult right now, because I've asked many people, and off the people I asked, I haven't done no Twitter poll or something, but maybe I'll take it to the masses one day. More people seem to think ODST is the better game. ODST is interesting because you're a regular dude, but I'm like, it is not. I don't see it. I just don't see it.
I treat ODST as like Halo meets Splinter Cell. So it's not Halo. It's like an expansion. That's what I view ODST as. But yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it. But it wasn't Halo to me.
I can see that. I think that's the best way to describe it. Is that it's like an expansion. Like, it feels like an expansion of Halo 3, which would have made sense now that I'm thinking about it. Like, yeah, it's the same. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe it shouldn't have been its own standalone game. Maybe that's its issue. Because like you said, it's quirky and cool, but yeah, it doesn't feel like Halo. I guess Splinter Cell's a good way to put it, since there's a lot of sneaking, and you just can't run out and be like, I'm having a firefight, let's go. You're gonna die. But
and even the multiplayer was just Halo 3. Like, it was primarily a campaign experience. So I don't really view. ODST was fun in my top 5 Halo games, but it's not Halo.
No, completely agree. Point is, people, if you're listening and you haven't got the message yet, Halo Reach is probably the best Halo. I'm not including Infinite because I haven't played it in its entirety. And if you haven't played it and you think Halo's awesome, then you are doing yourself a disservice, because unless Halo Infinite story is like amazing, like I'm talking about, like I'm going to be talking about this for months, amazing, it's not going to be better than Reach. Because I can tell you, I never talk about Halo 1 story. I mean, honestly, there's not really much to talk about. Aliens, go shoot them. I don't really talk about Halo 2 story, not much to talk about, except the multiplayer, which was, game changer. Halo 3, you finish the fight. But like Reach, you can like hours at a coffee shop talking about Reach. But yeah.
Yeah, there's so many layers to Reach.
Yeah, I always say, what makes a game interesting? When you know the end. Any story where it starts off knowing like everybody's about to die, but it's still good, to me is impressive. Because that's really hard for me to sell it. I feel it's hard to sell a story when it's like everyone's gonna die at the end, their mission's gonna fail. Like, like a war movie or something. Because it's like, oh well, none of this really matters. I know, but no, yeah, I knew the outcome, but yet it was super impactful the whole way through, knowing that everyone's gonna die, including my character.
Yeah, I never felt like, oh, I'm not going to care about this person because they're going to die. It's always been like, I don't want this person to die. And then they die. And it's like, no. Like when George dies, spoiler alert, that was the hardest one for me. Just George is so loving, and he's such like a father figure to the team. And he has his own mother issues. And then he just dies, and it's like, oh, my heart.
Yeah,
please.
It's especially hard thinking, they're all thinking they're dying, but they're going to save the planet. Like, they have this thing like, yeah, we're losing, but we're going to, our sacrifice will save the day. And just knowing that it doesn't, it's just, I can't think of their sniper, the female Spartan. But I remember she has a line in the game, and she was like talking, and she was like, have we lost? And it's like, oh no, we're still, she's like, no, I know we're losing, but have we lost? And I'm like, oh my God, like that line.
It's like she knew.
Yeah.
She knew what was happening.
She knew it was up. It's like clearly nobody's about to win here, but yeah, but happy thoughts. So Pokemon. So in case y'all didn't know, the 4th generation just got remade. The Sinnoh region, Diamond and Pearl. We got, before we go on, I have to say, I respect the Pokemon company that each game is in a different art style. They could have easily did all the remakes like in the same art style or like whatever the current art style of Pokemon is, but they never did that. They always gave the remake its own original art style, and I just think that's cool. So kudos to them. And in the Chibi art style, it's a winner for me. I would not mind if we saw another game like this, personally.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's really smart that Game Freak gave the Sinnoh remakes to a different company, because I feel like Game Freak could focus all of their attention on Legends of Arceus coming out, which means that this new company could do whatever they wanted with the remakes, which was amazing, because they didn't have to work out, like, to my knowledge, like, time constraints. They could just work on that game by itself.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Since we're talking about it, I'm amazed that they actually gave the reins to someone else. I'm pretty sure there was like the contract is stupid strict. Like, you can't do this. Like, I know for a fact it must have been like maybe more trouble than it's worth. But hey, if you're going to work on Pokemon, hey, if that's the IP to work on. But yeah, I was really amazed. And I mean, they did a good job in the sense that, first of all, I really like the models in this game. Like, the models are really, because, especially when Sword and Shield came out, that was like a big topic of debate with the whole national decks and all that. People are like, oh, the models are garbage. They're so reused and this and that. And I don't know if they reused any assets or how far, but I personally think these are some of the best Pokemon models I've seen in the game to date.
Yes, 100%. Also, my favorite thing are the sounds. Like, once Generation 6 hit, all the sounds were very muffled, and the Pokemon cries were, like, very similar and samey. They sound so distinct, and so clear, and so beautiful, and it's like, this is what I remember Pokemon as. Like, a unique and distinct encounter with every creature. And they brought it back. I was like, oh, these are my babies. They brought back my babies.
Oh man, 100%. And so okay. Before I just start rambling about what I like, I'm trying to give myself some structure here. But so my biggest praise I can give this remake is like, I understand things change, evolve, and grow. I've never had a problem with the one-off mechanics like Mega Evolution, Z moves, Dynamaxing, because I understand that you need to keep Pokemon fresh, but you can't necessarily stack all those things. And I think Dynamax is one of my favorites. I wasn't the biggest fan of Z moves. I'm kind of okay with Mega Evolutions, but I think I'm all on board with Dynamaxing, but I digress. But I hated that for Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, that there was Mega Evolutions. I just really hated, not only were there Mega Evolutions, they were almost a central part of the story. And I was like, this isn't Ruby and Sapphire. This is something else. This is, like, I get that all the remakes before added like a new part of the region or a new aspects of the story, and those were cool. I was okay, but I feel like Omega Ruby Sapphire added so much new and took it so far with the whole Rayquaza story, and it was too much. And I'm not a big fan of Let's Go Eevee or Pikachu. I know people are. But the Sinnoh remakes got it right in my book. It's like, this is what, like you said, this is what I remember. This is what I wanted. We have all the new stuff. I can still play Sword and Shield. It's still there. I can still Dynamax and all that. I didn't need that from Diamond and Pearl. And I'm so happy that what we did get that's new is like, quality of life changes, like using HM moves from your Poketech and things like that. But in its essence, it's just, I don't want to say simple, but it's an item, it's an ability, it's my Pokemon, and that's it. I got pretty much the original Sinnoh Dex, maybe an extra. I think the original Sinnoh Dex capped that at like 250. I think there's like 500 in this Dex, which is fine. And I'm just like, yeah, it struck it's a hard line to walk to strike a balance of nostalgia and new. But I think Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl did it perfectly, and that's the biggest praise I can give it.
Yeah, I am. My biggest critique with the remakes as a whole, not Diamond and Pearl, but just like all the remakes they've done, are they keep trying to innovate. Like you said, with the Mega Evolutions and Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but like, if I'm playing a remake, I want it to be what I remember it as. I want it to be the same, roughly the same game that I played over a decade ago. I don't want like a new story expansion or flashy gimmicks or any of that. I want to play Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl, and that's exactly what this is. And it's easily, after playing through the vast majority of the game, Diamond and Pearl are probably my second favorite Pokemon game of all time, right under Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Because with Soul Silver, it was the same thing. They just remade the game. It was the same exact game, just with quality of life improvements. And new gimmicks that weren't game breaking or game changing. It just made the world feel more alive. And that's also what Diamond and Pearl did.
Oh yeah, completely. So I didn't. I remember when they talked about like the underground, the Grand Undergrounds is called now, and like with the cave system and how you can find it. I was like, I don't know, this might be a little too much new, but they even got that right. I'm enjoying the ice caves and the caves where you find rare Pokemon, items and things of that nature, because it's like I almost feel like, so I know we're gonna move to based how the expansions of Sword and Shield, we're gonna move to Pokemon just being in the overworld naturally. That's just going how it's gonna be. But Diamond and Pearl showed me that if they ever decided for like Gen 9 or Gen 10 to go back to like a 2D style and not full 3D, that it could still work. Like we can still have the Pokemon in the overworld. I'm not saying that they should. I'm not here to say, oh, that's what they should do 3D. But I'm just saying if they ever do, like if they try to do a 2.5D style, which may be the best compromise, something like a better X and Y type of style, like not X and Y exactly, but like a evolution of that, how it was like, a mix of 2D and 3D. I think it will be wonderful. And I mean, there's plenty of, think of like Octopath Traveler and the new game.
One of my favorite games. One of my favorite games. I'm sorry, anyway.
No problem. And then was it Triangle Story, Triangle Strategy?
Strategy, I think, yeah.
Yeah, that. So like games still come out like that, and that might be where Pokemon needs to fall, because the only thing I'll say about Sword and Shield that really bothered me are walking animations. They do these weird like doom ba-doom ba-doom ba-doom. I'm like, why does everyone look like they don't know how to move their own body in this game? It is just odd to me. I'm just like, maybe we just go back. But I digress. Diamond and Pearl is this perfect mix of the Chibi art style, and then I kind of wish when you went into battle animation they still look like that. I think that would look amazing. But I mean, I'm fine because Pokemon has always switched from sprite to real life looking. I guess I don't know. Once you battle anyway, so that wasn't a big deal for me. But I think another area where Diamond and Pearl shines, besides just being true to the story, is so I like competitive battling in that. And when I looked, I couldn't think of the last time competitive battling from my perspective has been this fun, because I don't have to think of like, I'm gonna call them gimmicks, not saying they're all bad, but it's just nice to know like, okay, there's not like a 4D chess level of thinking. It's like, all right, cool, yeah, here's my team, this is what I'm gonna do. It's clean, it's simple, it's in-depth but simple. One of those, easy to learn, hard to master things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think not having Mega Evolutions or Dynamax or Z moves, people were really upset when they announced it to be a faithful remake. But it just performs better. Like the game is just so smooth. Like everything about it is just smooth. I don't know how else to describe it. It
Yeah,
feels so good to just return to classic Pokemon. It's just like, oh, this is what I like the new generations. Admittedly, they're not my favorite if I had to rank them, but they're fun. But going back to original Pokemon is just I didn't know I missed it that much until I played it.
yeah, man. Same. I will never stop defending Sword and Shield. I'll never stop defending the Pokemon's company to not include all Pokemon. These are all things that made sense. I get it because these are the sacrifices we'll have to make for this series to grow. But yeah, like you said, that's the best way. I didn't know I had missed it that much. Like once you stripped away all the glitz and the glamour, it was just like, damn, I don't know if this is gonna make them, reevaluate how they're making Gen 9, but this has been reported on. I'm not, breaking any news here, but it's already sold better than Sword and Shield since its release. And I think it is the only game that it hasn't sold better than so far. I believe is Heart Gold, Soul Silver. They might be different now. The point is, it's one of the best-selling Pokemon games, remake or otherwise, to date already.
Ever.
And it's only been a month, so clearly it has to be ever once it's all. And that just speaks volumes to, and to add on that, Sinnoh isn't like the top of everyone's favorite generation list. If you ask people, it's like Gold and Silver, X, Y, and stuff.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I personally think Black and White. Black and White 2 to be specific is my favorite generation because I feel like it's just like Gold and Silver. It's you're 2 years after the original generation. The story's great, the world's great. I think Black and White has some of the best original Pokemon. So
I agree.
So I'm looking for that 5th gen remake. I'm excited, but again, like we said earlier, Sinnoh. Most people rank it lower on their list. So for the Sinnoh region to be now the highest, because it just speaks volumes to, whatever Gen 9 turns out to be, I'll respect their decision. I'm going to rock with Pokemon, but maybe it is a time to return to form, because, I think of a game like Mario. I mean, when you break it all down, Mario's just running and jumping. That's all it truly is at the end of the day. And, there's this little change, like, you got Cappy, you got this and that, but it never just deviates any left or right from the formula. So, and, we're getting to Arceus, which Arceus. I say Arceus, people don't judge me. I don't know what the correct pronunciation is exactly, but, the fact that it's introducing so many new Pokemon and regional variants, I'm just like, man, this is almost like a mainline game. But I just wonder, what impact will Arceus and Diamond and Pearl have on the next Pokemon game? It has to have some huge impact. I can't imagine a world where it doesn't.
I hope that they take mainline games and keep experimenting with them. But I hope for future remakes, they just give us the game as it was a decade ago. Like, I would be totally happy with that. If every few years we get a new mainline game, it's innovative, it changes things, they add more gimmicks, which they will, and then they give us a remake, which is like, this is a Pokemon you remember. So you can have it both ways. And I really think Diamond and Pearl showed that they can do that. Because, like you say, it's one of the best-selling Pokemon games of all time within a month of release.
That's just wild. It's wild because people, you need to remember. Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I mean that's cool, but you gotta remember how well Pokemon sells. Period. Pokemon outsells other games 10-1. So
I'm pretty sure it outsells Call of Duty even. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but
yeah, the numbers are stupid high. So it's not like we're just saying like, oh, Pokemon sells 5 copies and this one sold 10. No, it's like if Diamond and Pearl is outselling the top selling Pokemon games, it means it's outselling every game, period. Which is no small feat. Except Grand Theft Auto, because all you people love buying Grand Theft Auto 5 for some unknown reason. Y'all just stop. Just stop. You know why Grand Theft Auto the trilogy sucks? Because it could suck. Because who cares? You're just gonna go buy Grand Theft Auto 5 anyway. It's your fault. You're the problem. No, I'm playing, people. I'm sorry for anyone who bought Grand Theft Auto trilogy and wanted their money back. That was a sucky situation. Thank you for your sacrifice, because I was hyped to buy it, but then the drama happened. So I'm just gonna wait until it's good. I'm not gonna cyberpunk this because I bought cyberpunk on release. It was good. It had its problems. No. It had its problems. I enjoyed cyberpunk. We're not here for that, but yes, it had problems. Mine crashed every 2 hours, but I enjoyed it enough to power through. I think if it didn't have any, it would be Game of the Year, but I digress. Not going to go on that soapbox today. Did you get Cyberpunk at release?
No, because... Yeah.
Because why would you? You're a sane person.
Yeah. No, they gave me a copy to review. I was like, alright, I'll review it for the publication I was at the time, and I couldn't even start the game.
Jeez.
Because you can't customize controls. I was like, well, this game is just shit. So I never even played it.
Oh.
Because I couldn't. Which, thankfully, I couldn't, because apparently it was terrible. But, yeah, I never, fortunately, was able to experience the drama that was Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, the game industry has taught me one thing. That apparently games will keep releasing when they're not ready. And, people, let Halo Infinite be a testament to, since we were talking about earlier. If your game is not ready, and clearly is not ready visually, mechanically, just take that L and be like, we will come back. We will come. I gotta admit, when they first dropped that first Halo Infinite trailer, I was like, how does this look worse than the 360 game? I don't understand.
I was very nervous, but I am very thankful that I'm always sitting down, because the wind was just taken out of me. I was like, oh god. Oh god, this is it. This is it, isn't it? But then they proved us wrong.
They did. So kudos to them. Maybe it was all part of the plan. Maybe it was one of those secret marketing techniques, like, we'll clearly release this horrible trailer, and everyone will be like, oh no, what? And then we'll be like, oh no, we're going to pull the plug. But secretly they were like, we were never about to release it right then. That was like pre-alpha, alpha trailer. Haha, we got you all.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. But so everyone, as you know, we're nearing the end of the year. The Game Awards is like a week or two away. I think it's next Thursday. Not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday or something.
I believe so.
Yeah. It's coming up. And so we got the nominees for, all the categories that we have, which I keep telling people we need a category for best remake. That at this point, I feel like that should just be a category. So because the conversation, I was like, should remakes be allowed to be part of, Game of the Year? Well, if we just make a category for it just pleases everybody. Boom, they get the credit they deserve, and it doesn't interfere with any quote unquote new game. But I don't know, we'll see. So Grant, I gotta tell you, so I thought something interesting, and maybe some people have talked about this before, but maybe they haven't. So the game of the year, the big crown this year is the nominees are Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village. And I remember I was talking to someone that I think this is the first time, maybe not ever, but definitely like in the last 2 decades, where most of the Game of the Year nominations are platformers.
Yes. Yeah, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, I mean, that's a Deathloop, a platformer.
Yeah, but It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, and Ratchet & Clank are all, Metroid Dread is maybe not, but no, I mean, Metroidvania, they're platformers.
Oh, I would consider it 100%. Yeah. Yeah, you're always jumping in those games. But yeah, this is the year of the platformers. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and then, even outside of, the game of the year nods. That we still we have games like Ori. I know that's not this year, but just games of recent memory that are in the platform vein. And it was crazy because I always tell people, like, they ask me what's my favorite genre, and I always say platformer. That's 90% due that I grew up in the 90s. I'm sure, like, I won't ignore that fact. But to me, the essence of all gaming are platformers. That's basically that's the lifeblood, at least of console gaming. Arcade cabinets. Where beat 'em ups and side scrolling shooters. But when I think of like some of the best games I ever played, they're always platformers. And I'm just happy that we're in an era now where, because people for a long time, especially during the FPS craze, people said it was a dead genre, not a dying genre, but a dead, in the water, good is gone, except when Nintendo does it. Ooh, excuse me, genre. And I'm like, nope, it is not dead. It is here. As a matter of fact, in 2021, it is thriving.
Thriving. I never trust people who are like, this is a dead game or a dead genre, because it isn't. Like, I don't think I've ever experienced a true dead game or genre for as long as I've been a part of this industry, both as a fan and a professional. I don't think I've ever seen something that truly dies.
Oh yeah, man. What is the what is it? What is dead may never die. The Game of Thrones saying. but yeah, that's I think that's wild. Like I said, I can only think the last time that happened is when platformers were basically the only genre, not the only, but it was like platformers, RPGs, and fighting games were pretty much the only type of games that came out. But yeah, so that's exciting to see. I have yet to play Psychonauts 1 or 2. I have Game Pass, so I guess I should get on
You gotta
that.
do it. You gotta do it.
I gotta do it. Like, I'm like, I already thought Psychonauts 2 looked amazing, but now I'm just like, oh crap, Game of the Year nod. That is something. So, and I was going over the list of games, and I will say, out of all the nominations, if you look, because usually if you look at all the Game of the Year games, they're usually like in every other category that they can possibly fit in. But this year, most people say, this has been the year of just breakout hits. Just from January to now, like, there's been so many genuinely good games to where I'm just like, man, like, and I haven't played probably not even a fourth of all the great games people are talking about. I'm going to play Death's Door before the year's out. I'm going to try that. But there's things like The Forgotten City that, like, for example, the best debut indie game, we got Kenya Bridge of Spirits, which I feel like we knew that game was coming out, but literally just came out of nowhere. It dropped and everyone was like, it's amazing.
I've never heard a bad thing about that game. Everyone who plays it loves it. Everyone.
Yeah. You got The Forgotten City, which, at first glance, I was like, okay, it's just a walk and talk to people game, but apparently you got to play that. The Artful Escape, which I played at PAX in 2019, and I thought it was cool, but apparently it became a lot cooler since then. And then Sable and Valheim, which I were just like, were two games that I never heard of until like after everyone said they were good. So I'm just like, man.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And so so one of the funniest things I think about this this list is, so I talked so much crap about Chicory, like the game where you're the dog in color. Kind of like, this is stupid. It's just like those coloring book games that you download on your phone and you do when you're bored, and like it's like up for like 4 different nominations, and I'm just like, man, I gotta stop having these hot takes too early.
The old site they used to work at, can't play that. We're all still good friends this day, but when Chicory released, the person who reviewed it was like, it's one of the most accessible and most fun games I've played in like a year and a half. I love it. I was like, oh, alright then. That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess it goes to show when you have a good story and you have something that everyone can enjoy. I guess like coloring, that you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with childlike wonder. So yeah, I'm gonna ask you this because this game is up for many nominations. Like I think 4 or 5. It got a nomination: innovation and accessibility, best score in music. What else? Best soundtrack. Oh, best narrative too. Oh my goodness. So Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy is my the biggest surprise this year, because especially after the rocky launch, rocky reception of Marvel's Avengers, not the game, not the movie, people, but I just really thought that there was no universe where Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be good. Like it wasn't possible.
So full disclosure, I am in the credits of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
so I have to be careful with what I say. I'm joking. I had the same exact reservations after witnessing everything that happened with Avengers. Even still happening with Avengers. That game is can't catch a break, and I feel really bad. But I think what made Guardians work is it was Mass Effect, but funny, if that makes sense. Like, it's literally Mass Effect. You're playing Mass Effect, essentially. But it's just funny. Well, I think because what made people love Mass Effect so much was the narrative, the dialogue choices, the gunplay, and then you add a layer of comedy onto it that isn't cringy. That's a successful game. So I'm very happy that it's up for all these awards, because after the Avengers launch, it was very like, oh, I don't know about this one. But yeah, it found its own identity, and it showed that like single player games specifically are still here to stay, and they can be entertaining and fun.
Man, I think you just sold me on that, because this year I bought Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I didn't play any of them on the original releases. That genre just not the genre, the game just escaped me, and so I fell in love with it. Like I'm a Tally stan. Like I damn near want to buy a body pillow type of thing, but I'm not even.
No one's stopping you. Christmas is coming up. Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Are you're just full of inspiration for me today? If I get it, I'm tagging you. Like I'm gonna be like, this.
You better. I expect it. If I don't see a tiny body pillow on my timeline after Christmas, I'm gonna be so mad.
But so I fell in love with the series for the first time. I think it's cool and great. Yada yada yada. So for you to be like Mass Effect but even funnier, I'm just like, oh, as someone who's currently like a Mass Effect stan, acting like I've been one for years, I'm like that might be the selling point for me. That might be it.
Yeah, that's the best and easiest way to describe Guardians is just Mass Effect but with humor.
So
and there are so many lines. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
There are so many lines that like, because if you've seen the Guardians movies, like some of the lines are very hit or miss, right? But there are so many lines in the game that just fit at the right moment. Like there's a specific line, I won't ruin it for you because it's like toward the end of the game, but it was a very serious moment. And then they just say this line, and it just ruins the moment, but in the best possible way. And it's like, that's great. I love this. It's amazing.
All right. I am sold on the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not that I wasn't before. I was just like, this is gonna be one of those I'll get to when I get to it type of games. But now it has been bumped up to like, all right, Odell, making the effort to play this. And I'm about to ask you just a horrible question that everyone asks, and it's just you're gonna get it. What are some of your just gaming of your games? It doesn't matter if they're on the list or not. Just some of those. I don't care if it's AAA or some game you never heard of. What's some of your games you're like you got a champion before the year's out?
Back for Blood, one of my favorite new games that came out. I was a huge Left 4 Dead fan. Loved it. Like, I probably, when I had my 360, that was the game I put the majority of my hours into. Was Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2. So the fact that the same company just made another Left 4 Dead game, but better, is amazing. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, because it's everything I wanted again in a Pokemon game, and they brought it back. The same as last year, so probably not this year, so probably can't answer that question with that then. Destiny 2 for best like continuous game because of the seasons and the Rich Queen expansion coming out in February. One of my favorite games. And I would just say probably Pokemon Unite came out of nowhere, and it's amazing. Like, it's so user-friendly, but there's a layer of, like, technicality and, like, in-depth mechanics that if you don't want to learn them, you don't have to. But if you do, it just makes the game so much more exciting and fun.
Oh, so I always told people like at the midpoint, when people ask the question, I was like, Pokemon Unite might be in my game of the year list, and it's no longer is. I'm about to say why, but if there was a category for best unexpected out of nowhere game, I would have to give it to Unite because similar to Galaxy, there was no way going in that anyone expected the game to be any type of good. Everyone's just like, oh, this is going to be as good as Pokémon Tournament was. I'm not saying Pokémon Tournament is bad, but it is not held in high regard amongst fighting games people. Let me tell you that. But, for the fact that it could enter the MOBA arena of all places, which is a real hard, genre arena to break into, completely hard, and they did it successfully. I mean, that's power of Pokemon. What can you do? But, if Pokemon Unite, which is not on Unite per se, this is a Nintendo thing, had proper game chat, I think it could have easily been a Game of the Year nominee for something. Like, easily. Like, I don't play it anymore. That's only due to the lack of game chat. And, like, my friend put it, the lack of, like, you can't, like, be like, oh, my friend's on, let's queue up together and play. Like, you have to actively be like, hey, man, get on or be on. And so that barrier, which, again, isn't on the game itself. This is more likely, a Nintendo issue with how they do things. Yeah, so, but if it had proper game chat and proper, like, jump in with your friend, jump out play, like, I think the game could have easily been one of the best games of the year. And I still think that, it deserves some credit. The only reason I stopped playing, like I said, is because I just couldn't talk to my friends. And as the more it got on, like, queuing up with randoms just became more and more of let me raise my blood pressure in the worst possible ways.
Yeah, I also have not played that game in quite some time because of the same reason. Like, if I want to play, I want to play with friends. Because dealing with random is just not fun. And if my friends are on, we gotta get in Discord, we gotta message each other. Alright, what's the code? So I can join your lobby. It's just not easy to play.
Yeah, but so my breakout games, this is the year where I played a lot of remakes. So like Mass Effect, I played that. A Diamond and Pearl, which easily I feel like, I know it wouldn't be, well, one, it came out too late per se in the voting and stuff, but easily one of the best games I played this year. but I have to give credit where credit is due. Like, I played everything that's on the list. I played for the most part. I think Metroid Dread deserves all the love it's getting and more. But Deathloop is amazing. I really can't. I mean, the game has enough praise. There's really nothing I can add to it. But It Takes Two. And I know people are thinking, but everyone thought It Takes Two would be good. And I'm like, yes, people did just think, oh, this is like a great co-op game. And yeah, it did. But I thought it was just going to be a very mundane, like, oh yeah, it's going to be a fun co-op couch and, we'll be done. But no, it really is an amazing game. And it's one of those games that it gets more amazing the more you play it. Like, so it doesn't start off on a high note and then you're just kind of like, yeah, I'm here. No, the high notes come, after each new level. And I really think it's one of those games that it came out so early in the year that I'm just like, man, that's one of the few games I could be like, okay, play this game. One, because it respects your time. It's like a 10-hour game. You know what I'm saying? It's a good weekend, knock it out with a friend type of game. And it's just really amazing. I think the story is super sappy, personally. Like, it's loving, but it gets to the point where it's like, oh, we're going to get divorced, but oh, we're not going to get divorced because we loved each other. Remember that one time when we did love each other, but we forgot it because life got in the way? Now I remember it. Even with the super sappy story, for my taste, it was still just an amazing game. And like, to me, it feels like an indie game that came out of nowhere and was amazing, because I didn't think I thought the game would be good but not great, but it was it was beyond great. So It Takes Two reminded me of something of like, it reminded me good of how good quote unquote couch co-op could be. You could play it online with a friend. I did. But since it's split screen, if you're forcing me to do split screen, it's couch co-op in my mind. But yeah, I forgot how good it would to feel to be like young, no bills, no responsibilities, don't worry about paying whatever, and just be able to be like, hey mom, can I go over to my friend's house? And just be able to play a game pure free of any restrictions. And that's what It Takes Two did for me. So I have to salute it, because I forgot what that feeling felt like, and it gave that back to me. So bravo to the team there.
Yeah, I myself did not play, but I had several friends who were like, wow, this game is amazing. Like, for all the reasons that you listed to, just the nostalgic feeling of playing with your friend, just the two of you trying to figure out how to beat puzzles and having to work together for things.
Yeah, man, it's good. So, out of the games listed, and I will remind you real quick, out of crap, where is it? All right, here we go. Deathloop, It Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, which that's my surprise game of the year nomination. I didn't think it would make it there, but hey, it did. What would you give it to personally out of those?
So I have two. So my selfish reason is Metroid Dread, because Metroid was gone for so long. And it came back and it was like, wow, this is Metroid again, it's great. But from a more than likely going to win, I would probably give it to It Takes Two. Because it just came out of nowhere. And it just kept blowing people away with how great it was, how the story felt, and how it brought people together through gameplay. So I would say It Takes Two.
Oh, okay. I will, so for similar reasons, but different at the same time, I would give it to Metroid Dread in the similar vein that, it came out of nowhere. It was like, between announcement and launch was like maybe a month.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was like, here's this game we've been working on. I was like, what?
Yeah, because when I think of things like Resident Evil Village, Ratchet & Clank, Deathloop, and Psychonauts 2, those are games we knew years out that they were coming out. I think all of those listed was supposed to be out the year prior. These are all 2020, maybe even 2019 releases. I think Deathloop might have been slated for 2019 originally. I don't quote me on that, but I know it was definitely not supposed to come out when it released. It was supposed to be, something that happened before. But, I think it's something like, there's games like Halo Infinite we talked about that we know it's coming. We know it's going to be big budgeted, like a God of War, Horizon. We know it's coming. We get updates. There's trailers. There's assets. There's all these people. There's the drama, yada, yada, yada. But I think it's really special when, like a Metro Jordan, It Takes Two can just be like, look, this game's coming out. It's actually coming out real soon. Here it is. And for it to just take off. That those things are still possible. And yeah, we get indie games that do it and stuff, but they don't make it this high. So to be that type of launch and to make it of this level of recognition, I'm like, you truly have to be special. Because I feel like the other ones are hyped to be special. Like, you kind of knew Ratchet and Clank and Deathloop were going to be Game of the Year contenders before they released. Like, you didn't know for sure. But if someone told you Ratchet and Clank's probably going to be Game of the Year, Deathloop's probably going to be Game of the Year, I'll even say Resident Evil Village, no one will be surprised. They'll be like, yeah, I haven't played it, but that makes sense.
Right, yeah, exactly. Every time there's like a big studio release, like Capcom, Sony, Microsoft, what have you, you can almost guarantee that one of their games will be Game of the Year.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Like, for example, Breath of the Wild 2 comes out next year, maybe.
Game of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. like, but you haven't Game of the Year. But you don't Game of the Year.
Does it have Zelda in its name? Game of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. So, but, kudos to all the nominees. May the best game win and all that jazz. Hopefully, with so much variety this year, we'll see just like, no game will win more than like, 2 awards. Because I always hate years where it's like the same game won like half the awards list. I'm like, okay, yes, it's good, people, but come on now. Like, it's not good in every category now. Looking at you, Last of Us Part 2. Looking at you. Good game. Just not good at every. Not here for that. I digress. But, Grant, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for this awesome show, especially that Pokemon love. You know what I'm saying? One Pokemon master to another. So I never get tired of talking about it. But, where can the people find you, follow you, keep up with your work, all that good stuff?
You can follow me on Twitter at super_creep1994. And you can read my work. This sounds so pretentious, I hate this, but just about everywhere at this point. IGN, Washington Post, Wired, Fanbyte. Can I play that? Anywhere there's accessibility, you can probably find me writing about it in the industry. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Anytime I get to talk about Pokemon, it's a good day.
Exactly, man. Hey, man, you own that, bro. Like, there's nothing pretentious about it. As someone who has been trying to break into the game industry for the longest time, I've been to, cons and things of that nature. Having the ability to be like, you can find me just about anywhere that writes about games, bro, I would own that completely, because that is not an easy feat at all. So kudos to you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, little bit envious. Not gonna lie, if I'm being completely honest, but more power to you.
I don't have a full-time job yet, though, so you beat me there.
Yeah, like I said, I keep telling people, I was like, what, maybe I'll try the not media side, and it worked out. So I'm excited about that new adventure. We'll see how that all pans out. But as always, you can follow me at Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media. We're back, people. Sorry for any heart attacks I may have gave anyone that the show was over. I wouldn't just leave y'all hanging like that. But as always, have a great week and be blessed. Until next week. Bye, everybody.